Have this new EP dropping very soon, just like this. How excited are you for this project to get out there?
Oh my gosh, I've been like working on it my whole life, it feels like, because it's been incubating for a long time, but I'm so excited to finally share it. Yeah, I have great musicians um, on the project, and I've gotten a great response so far. And the first single drops on May 31st, so I can't wait till everybody hears it.
So the first single is going to be Back in Time, correct?
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about the inspiration behind that and co-writing that track?
Well, it's so funny. It started with some sounds actually. And I don't know why. I just felt like it felt like going back in time to me. And it kind of brought up all of these great, like the person I wanted to be when I was 10 and 12 years old. So it was like, oh wow, this is the chance I get to be that person. And so it became kind of a moment. And then it made me think about like how the relationships suck me back in. It's so hard for me to let go of people that I care about in my life. So, yeah, that's kind of where the song originated.
I find it very cool that you co-wrote all the tracks on this EP. For you as an artist, how important was it for you to be involved in the co-writing of this album and the crafting of the music?
It was very important for me because I spent so much of my life as an actor in musical theater and on TV saying other people's words, which has been really helpful to me in cultivating who I am. But now that I get to choose what I'm saying, it's yeah, invaluable, really.
I myself am a huge music nerd. I love all types of music. I literally have a credit card that's dedicated to buying only Prince music or Prince related stuff because I'm a
Oh, that's
huge Prince
cool.
fan. So I'm curious for you. I love seeing the behind the scenes process, seeing artists in the studio and working with engineers and producers. What is it like for you being in the studio and crafting your music? Do you enjoy being in the studio?
I love being in the studio. It's where I feel most myself, actually. And when you get that great collaborator that I don't feel embarrassed to be myself in front of, that's where like most of my magic happens. I feel like I start going in and I start apologizing for who I am, and then they're like, hold on, hold on. And then the veil drops, right? And you get comfortable and you start speaking the truth and that's the most fun. It's also cool to see the process evolve in the room and you're throwing the ball and they're catching it and then they throw the ball and you catch it. So you're building something that you kind of wouldn't have built by yourself. But you're bringing your whole person into it. That's the most fun for me.
For you as an artist, what artists have influenced you and your style of music and your style of writing?
Oh goodness. I can't necessarily say that it's in my writing, although maybe it has to be. But I love like I mean, I grew up listening to Whitney Houston. I wouldn't say that I have a Whitney Houston track on my EP though. Although I can't not be influenced by her. Prince also like Purple Rain and uh, all of his great tracks. Michael Jackson, come on. But I can't say that like any of my music sounds like that. I also love like The Cure and XS and like Paula Abdul and Janet Jackson. There's just so many. Um, yeah, and even artists today. Like I love what Sabrina Carpenter's doing
Yeah.
and Bridgers and yeah, there's so many musical influences.
For me, I was lucky enough to listen to the EP. I've listened to it for the last couple of days, and I was bumping to it on the way home from work yesterday. And one of the tracks that stands out for me is "What Am I Saying?" I really love that track. Can you talk a little bit about that track and the inspiration behind it?
Amazing. That's an interesting one because that one kind of evolved. I came into the set with the studio with a lyric that was completed, and the chorus wasn't "What am I saying?" And we got to the pre-chorus, and I was like, "Oh," I stopped and was talking with my collaborator, and he was like, I kind of don't want to go into the chorus, and I kind of just want to keep hearing what am I saying?" And I'm like, "Really?" And he was like, "Yeah, let's go with that." And so we just tried a couple things, and it was like, "Wait a minute, the way it wants to go. Sometimes you just have to like be there in the moment and let the song become what it wants to be.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Obviously, I don't want to compare you to other musicians, but you spoke of influences just a minute ago. And when I was listening to the EP, the first name that popped in my head is someone I feel who is a fantastic artist right now, who's underrated, is Carly Rae Jepsen. She's got this little stigma to her because that one big song she had right at the beginning. But her last few albums have been fantastic pop albums, and that's what I instantly thought of when I was listening to your stuff.
Well, that's so great. I take that as a huge compliment. She is definitely on my radar as an influence, and I love Call Me Maybe. Come on, everybody loved that song. You can't get it out of your head.
It's funny because when I say something like that, people automatically just say "Call Me Maybe." And I'm like, you got to listen to her album "Emotion," one of the best pop albums I've heard in the last 2 decades. She
Yeah.
does some really inventive stuff, and I really enjoy her writing style.
It's so interesting, people who are mainstream pop artists or have a pop hit, sometimes you write them off that way. And
Mhm.
if you're an artist, you're an artist. You just have to like show up for all of the things. Yeah.
I'm interested to know for you, unlike theater where you get that instant reaction from the crowd and know what people are getting from what you're putting out there, in film and music, you just do your work and you wait for it and it goes out there and you just wait to get the response from people. Does that make you a little nervous when you put something out there like that?
It's so funny. Right before I put it out, I get really anxious. Whether it's a photo shoot, whether it's when I'm putting the like last period on, when the final mix has to go to get mastered, I start hearing things I've never heard before, and like I start freaking out in this weird way. And thankfully, my collaborators know that I'm going to do this, so when I send them a laundry list of like, we need to change this, we need to change this, he's like, no, none of that changed. So I don't know where, I'm like, okay, right. I'm just freaking out because now it's going to be shared with everybody. So, that's a moment I noticed as an artist that I just have to get over,
Hmm.
and trust myself that I've made the right choices. And now in this part of the process where it's actually going live and I'm getting some feedback. Like I really appreciate what you have said about the EP. It's really kind of fun to see what other people find in it for themselves because now I've given everything I can give, and it's about like the audience reciprocating, right? So that's really fun for me.
I think what's awesome is not only do you have music, but you're also you have your hands dipped in all parts of entertainment, and you currently are starring in the film Friendship with one of my favorite actors, Paul Rudd. Can you talk a little bit about joining that process and why you decided to take that role?
Well, hardly starring. I'm very lucky to have a small role in this film. It was such a pleasure working with this cast and crew. Especially, I mean, Paul Rudd, of course, who wouldn't want to go to bat with him. But then also Tim Robinson, who is such a unique voice in comedy.
Hmm.
It was really cool. I wasn't sure what to expect. I wasn't sure how much we would be improvising, and we actually stuck pretty close to the script, although there were some moments improv. You'll probably be able to tell in the film. Um, but yeah, it was really incredible. I remember going up to the director a couple times, like, how are they letting you do this? Like there it doesn't feel like supervised. It felt very organic in the process. And the humor comes out of kind of nowhere because it's so grounded in realism. It's not like a broad comedy. Um, but yeah, the jokes certainly land. I was excited to hear in the theater. I went to like just I bought my own ticket and went to the movies like everybody else and hid in the back. And I was really enthusiastic to hear the response. There was like laugh out loud moments, which I was really appreciative of.
Can you talk a little bit about your character? I think it's Rebecca Springs in the film and how she fits into the friendship universe.
Yes, I play Paul Rudd's boss essentially. And she's, you know, the cheery morning news host who is pretty cutthroat behind the scenes as she drives a tough ship. So, yeah.
Does Paul Rudd age? I mean,
You know,
Jesus.
he's has that boyish charm. I think he's always gonna have it. And he's just delightful, everything you would hope him to be. What you see is what you get.
There's a lot of times I see some behind the scenes stuff with films he's in, and there's always cracking up and making jokes on, in between takes and stuff like that. Did you have that a lot when you were working with Paul? Was he cracking up a lot, making jokes?
Yeah, yeah. We actually had a big set that day too, with because we were on a set. This we were on an actual set, so it was hard to tell who was crew and who was cast from time to time. Yeah, that was a good environment for a lot of jokes. Yeah.
What I love about A24 is that they are building its reputation for allowing filmmakers and creators to really find their visions for their projects. Can you talk about a little bit working with the A24 studio?
Well, this film was acquired after it was filmed, so
Okay.
a company called Fifth Season actually produced it, and then it got distribution through the Toronto Film Festival. Yeah, A24 has really been great about its rollout, though, and it had they have been a wonderful company giving voice to independent comedy films.
I spoke to a friend of mine, and they immediately said they had again, we don't want to say it's Anchorman, but they had an Anchorman vibe when they were watching it. Would you agree with that?
Um, I would in the sense that we go to a newsroom, and of course you can't really take Paul Rudd out of Anchorman, like that was part of what was so fun about getting to be in a newsroom with him. But the comedy definitely leans a little differently, although it was nice to have Anchorman as a tonal reference to like be able to lean into that weirdness a little. But the film itself has a very different feeling.
What I found cool is a lot of viewers may recognize you from your work on Heart of Dixie, which was a fantastic series. The show has been off the air now for I think 10 years.
I
Um,
well, I don't count that. I try not to count things like that.
can you talk a little bit about what you learned as an actor working on that show and what you think of the show? What do you think the show's legacy is?
It's interesting. We had such a wonderful set, such great warmth and camaraderie. It really did feel like a small town, and we shot on the Warner Brothers lot. In the town square. A lot of great films were shot there. So it kind of was built into our set and our family. Like it kind of just that warmth and I think that that is what people can see in it when they watch it. I know that our show became quite popular over COVID because
Hmm.
it streams. And it is kind of a guilty pleasure. I hear people say, like, oh, I was sick and home from work and I binge watched it. Yeah. And so I kind of think a little we were before our time. We're such a lighthearted group of people too. It was really wonderful. I think we're still streaming actually. I think
Hmm.
we're on Amazon Prime now. So we kind of bounce around to the different streamers.
You've also done some great work on stage with Mamma Mia and A Tale of Two Cities. How important was it for you to have that foundation of being on stage and being in front of an audience for your act? How did that help your acting and singing career?
Oh, well, that was my first love was musical theater. It
Mhm.
was the place that I realized that I had a voice and that I could use it. And I was such a shy kid, so it really helped me to get my legs under me on stage and as an actor. So I really can't separate that experience from what I do now. Much of what I do now is very much rooted in the theater. But each medium has its difference, and it's been fun to kind of adapt to those skills into the different mediums.
An interesting question I thought about just now is like if you could go back in time and speak to young Brandy right before she started this trip in the entertainment industry, what piece of advice would you give to her?
To trust yourself. I'm still giving that piece of advice to myself. Um, and yeah, I mean, the ride is so different for everyone. And I think that it's just important to keep staying in the game and be curious and interested in what you can learn and what you can make. It's
Mhm.
like you don't really make it. There's no making it. You're making it every day with what you do with your hours, how you choose to invest your time and your heart and your energy. And so I guess that's what I've learned over the years to be true. And I guess I don't know if you can tell somebody that and for them to get it, but if I could encapsulate that and give it to her, yeah, I would kind of maybe that would settle her anxiety.
What keeps you grounded? Because as you know, this business is a tough business. There's a lot of rejection in this business. What do you do to keep yourself grounded and keep yourself like, okay, this happened. There's another day coming up. I can look forward to other stuff. What keeps you grounded?
Well, definitely my faith in God. And I have a great support system around me. I have great family and friends, and my family's great in that way. They're never going to let me get too big for my britches. So, family keeps you honest.
And my final question for you is, are there any other projects you have coming up besides the release of the EP or anything you can tell us about?
Ooh, well, I have my hands full right now with that because the rollout is happening through October. I'm really excited about that. And then after that, I have some things that are in the works producerially. So we're in different stages of development on a couple of different films actually, and yeah, more to come.
Do you hope to tour behind this a little bit? Maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yes, I do hope to. I feel like I keep getting music downloads right now too, so I'm trying to wrestle with, oh, do I go back into the studio or do I tour and support this? Because I still have some songs that I didn't include on this EP
Oh,
that
cool.
I could roll out, or I could go back in and it's about trying to figure out where to focus every day. So that's a question I have in my mind right now. Like, oh, am I going to go and tour or am I going to, fill out the rest of the EP and maybe um, share some more of what I haven't shared?